Mwashukeni mkwai mwakabwanji mwakabuti. Anyway, you're watching us from, a beautiful good morning to you. Welcome to the Weekly Gospel with me, Amazing Katamanda, as your host. So this show, the Weekly Gospel, comes your way every Saturdays at 10:45, and we're here to give you nothing but the best when it comes to preaching the gospel. And what we've decided to do most of the times, or the past years that we've been doing the show, it's always been about focusing on gospel musicians. So this year we've decided to say, you know what, there are a lot of people that are preaching the gospel not through music only, but there are other means that they're using. Others are using poetry, others are just using their works, others do the actual work of evangelizing and just going door to door in preaching the gospel. And we have decided to say, you know what, come through to the studios, let's have an interview with you. Let's know how you are preaching the word of Christ. Let's know how you are introducing people to Christ, because this show is all about preaching the gospel to Jesus. And of course, not only that, but we are also here to encourage one another, to inspire one another. Today, I am joined by one minister who is so great. The smile itself will just tell you, but I'm not going to introduce him now, but he's just here. For now, let's just get to one of the videos that he did, so that you get to know him before we actually get to talk to him. So some of you know him, some of you don't know him. That is the best part about it. So if you want to be part and parcel of the show, leave your comments on our Facebook page. We are streaming live right now, or you can send us a direct message and just get to know my guest for today. And his name is Sampa the Creator. What an interesting name, right? But of course, let's just get to the video that he's done, which is titled Open Doors. And when we get back, we get to know him in depth. All right.
Is the best time, yeah, and delay is not denial. We look at you to take a low way, we must wish you can't let away. If he promised he will do it, for he's not son of man that he should lie, now is he son of man that he should repent. For every word he says, he will do it. Every word he promised, he will fulfill. God will open doors. No man can close. He will open doors. No man can close. God will open doors. No man can close. He will open doors. No man can close. I'll walk right in. I'ma walk right in. Yeah. Walk right in. Walking open doors. Yeah. Right in, I'ma walk right in, yeah. Walk right in, walking open doors, yeah. See, at times it looks so gloomy that you feel like there won't be a sunny day. So many doors shut in your face, like you feel like there won't be an open door. Trust his word and live by it and believe it. For his word says, ask and you shall be given. Seek and you'll find him. Knock, the door will be open. So walk into your open door. Open door. No man can close. He will open doors. No man can close. God will open doors. No man can close. He will open doors.
jump on the rhythm, run the tune, Africa.
And there you have it. If you're just joining us, you are watching it. It is the Weekly Gospel with me, your host, Amazing Katamanda. And I'm always on your TV screens every Saturdays at 10:45. And I get to introduce to you the ministers that you already know, established ministers, and the ones that you don't know. And this show is all about preaching the gospel to people using different mediums. So if you are a part and you would want to be featured on the show, you do gospel, because this show is all about the gospel of Jesus. So if you do a part, Christian poems, you can come through, you can inbox us on our Facebook page, and then we'll give you the directions for those that don't know where Camnet TV is. For those that know where Camnet, I think it's just best for you to inbox us, because you might come here and then, you know, so you inbox us first, and then we'll give you the instructions that you need to follow. But anyway, now that that is out of the way, let's get interactive. Go on our Facebook page, text us, and of course, don't forget to ask any queries that you have for my guest today, who is Sampa. I don't want to forget the psalmist, because from the voice, you are a psalmist, obviously, the creator.
Yes.
So before we get to know what you create,
Yes.
can we just get to know who Sampa, the creator, is?
So,
The psalmist, let's not forget
yes.
that part.
So I'll introduce myself as Sampa the psalmist, singer-songwriter, and music producer. So the creator part comes in obviously from my Vemba name. My name is Sampa Mlenga. So when you check on Facebook, you'll find me as Sampa Mlenga.
Okay.
So for my English folk, they will not get what Mulenga is. So I translated it as creator.
Oh, Mlenga means creator.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So in Vemba it's Mulenga. In English it's creator.
Okay.
So that's what brings about Sampa the creator, because now having grown in this industry and in my journey of music, from transitioning from just a singer into now a music producer, a video producer, and helping other people get into the industry in as mentoring them and bringing them to the fore. I thought to transition from just the psalmist to the creator, so that I'm able to breathe life into
Okay,
works.
you create,
Yes.
you create, which is a good thing. So you obviously you have a passion for the people.
Yeah.
But have you always known that this is what you were created for, this is what you were created to do? From inception, has it always been known to you that this is who I am? I'm a creator, I am meant to help people, I am meant to bring people to a realization of who they are, and just mentoring them in becoming people that God has called them to be?
Yeah, so a brief background is I come from a very musical family.
Oh, interesting. So, okay. When you say musical family, does that mean the entire family sings?
So my mother used to be a singer herself in the KBBK with the UCZ, and then my big brother, who also taught me how to play the guitar and taught me how to play the keyboard, himself was a singer and a songwriter. My other brother also was a singer, and until all of them moved into ministry and started preaching and all that. So that is how far I come. And then from there, I think about 15, I was already leading a youth group at our church. No, 13 actually.
At 13.
At 13, I was already leading a youth group at Liberty Christian Center. By then, it was Grace Ministries Mission, where I was helping the group as a choir conductor and director. So from then, I've been in music and helping people, training people. When we didn't have a keyboard player, I was the keyboard player. When we didn't have a bass guitarist, I was
You
the
were there
guitarist.
to play.
So with that, I evolved and then learned that this is a gift that God has given me. So keeping it to myself puts a lot of demand on myself. Then I have to be at every service. So I had to teach other people, and then it evolved in me pursuing music as a career, where I went and studied it at Evelyn Horn College as a music teacher. So from there, the call for me to train others into the music and bring them to their full potential has been something that has driven my career and everything that I do.
Okay, so for you, it's throughout. You've just been, you've lived your life knowing God, doing the right things. There was never a point. Because I know at 13, I think I was just out there trying to figure out who I was, or maybe probably trying out different kinds of things.
Yes.
But for you, was there a point in your life where, because we know when you're a teenager, there's just so many things going on in your life that you don't even understand. Sometimes you even try to find love like in the wrong places. Did you ever experience that at all? For you, it's always just been, you've always been guided to do the right things.
Definitely, that's never been the case for anybody who evolves through life. For me, I was put on a crazy sport because being a young brother to a pastor makes you more like a preacher's kid.
Yes, I know.
So you're put on the sport. Obviously, the two girls are there in the mix. So yeah, so growing up, obviously I had my mess-ups, and after I was done with my grade 8, 9, I went to a boarding school, so now I had a lot of freedom there.
Do
Then
life.
I went and did live, experimented, smoked a lot, drank a lot. Hope that's not bad to say on TV. But I realized that whatever you do in life, when God has a call on you, you can't succeed at being bad.
No, you can't. You can't.
To a point that there was one day when we were out with my friends drinking and partying, and then I went and bought a cigarette. I paid this guy, and this guy said, "I'm not going to give you the cigarette." And he says, "You can't smoke. You do not look the part. In fact, you are a man of God." And I was like, "Dude, just let me get out of
I don't want to
here."
hear anything.
And then he gave me back the money and just told me, "No, you
Just go with your money.
So that became one of the turning points, because I started thinking about it. That somebody who has nothing to do with my life thinks and looks at me and sees a man of God in this drunk boy. Then I actually knew that God had a purpose that was greater than what I was up to, and cleaned up my act.
Okay, no, it's good. You know, the reason why we ask people to be real and authentic on this show is because we have young people that watch this show, so we want them to learn. At least, you know, when you have someone to guide you, or you have someone who's experienced it, they're able to tell you, no, don't go this way, don't go that way. But if you don't have, you definitely make the mistakes that they have made. So it's good that you're opening up and telling us the truth. So can you say that has been like your wake-up call, or maybe there was another incident that happened that made you realize to say, you know what, I'm not meant for this life. Let me just go back to where I'm coming from. Because it's obvious you grew up in a Christian home where you knew Jesus, were introduced to Jesus at a very tender age. Because for you to lead a group at the age of 13, it's obviously you were living right.
True.
So what made you get back to that place of just saying, you know what, I'm a child of God, I need to go back to my Father?
So, like in the experience that I talked about earlier, obviously there were points that when you come back from boarding school, because that was at a boarding school in Samfya, in Luapula province, Samfya. So out there, it would be fun for me to do all of that. But when I came back home, you were still expected to do your duties. You were expected to be on the drum. You were expected to be the youth leader. And I realized this double kind of life was not something that God expected of me. And from that kind of experience, it just taught me that and then you kind of lose yourself when you're out there doing whatever. And then when I came home, it was like, this is me, this is my core, this is my place. And when I'm out there, it never felt right. So when I just came back, I think even before I finished my grade 12, I realized I needed to turn things around. And now the friends that I had got so shocked, because on the weekends I'd be at church leading, and then they'd ask me, "Oh, we're not going partying?" And I would tell them, "Nah, I think that's no longer what I want for my life." Driving forward, when we came back, my focus was just music, and developing my walk with Christ. And with that, he took me places I never thought I would be able to get to.
Okay, awesome, awesome. No, it's good to hear people's stories. Some of us can resonate with the stories, and some of us, before we make these mistakes, we learn. So if you're just joining us, this is the Weekly Gospel with me, Amazing Katamanda, and I'm joined by Sampa, the creator, or for now, he prefers to be called Sampa the Psalmist. I don't know, maybe because it's a musical show or something, but it's not only a musical show. So he's a producer, he has his hands full, talking about everything that you do. Which one can you say you feel more comfortable doing? Because it's obvious your hands are full and you're a jack of all trades. You play keyboard, you play drums, and then now you're producing, and then now you also have to focus on producing music for yourself as well, for other people. So how do you just like juggle everything? How do you balance? How do you navigate? How do you make sure that you are not depriving your time from the other?
So obviously every day in the morning I wake up to get to the studio. And one thing that has helped me keep my balance is like at our church we have this every year when we start we have a time of prayer. Sometimes it's 21 days, but this one we had a 7-day fast. So that sets the pace for my year, and I prepare it, I plan it, and I know that every day my day starts with my studio work, and I lock my mornings for myself and get selfish and just produce stuff for myself, and then my afternoons are what I book for other people to come and record and help produce. So what works for me is really planning the day. Just like there's a saying that if somebody gave you 24,000 US dollars in the bank, and then what would you do with it? And a lot of suggestions would come to your mind. But then we are given that exact amount in hour forms. So you are given 24 hours to do whatever you want to do with your life. So you ought to plan it and know that these 24 hours will not be the same 24 hours tomorrow. So every day, plan your day, make the most out of it. If I have to go to bed late and wake up early, I do exactly that. And when you do something for 21 days, it becomes part of you, you develop it, and it becomes your character. So I can't go to bed as early as some people do. I can't I don't have the luxury of waking up as late as some people do, because that is my lifestyle. For me to develop my career, for me to develop my skill, and for me to be able to give the most out of my gift.
Okay, now let's talk about family. So how does family feel about this whole ministry that you are doing, or this whole work that you're doing? Because you've mentioned how you plan your day, and I've only heard about work. So how does family now fit in?
Oh, so I'm married with 3 kids, and with that comes the demand to be able to be a father and be a husband.
A son-in-law as well?
Yes, a son-in-law and a son to my father.
Yes.
Yes, so with that comes that demand, and I try to divide my time rightly so that I'm able to fit in my work and be able to fit in my family. And I always close my Saturday afternoons and my Sunday a whole day with the kids. So you can't catch me anywhere after 14 hours on a Saturday or the whole day Sunday, because Sunday early in the morning.
Don't even compromise about it.
No, because Sunday in the morning is church, and after church it's family time.
Okay. Awesome. No, it's really good to spend time with children, because you know I have had some conversations with different kinds of people, and they'll tell you, no, you know what, my father was never there for me. He provided everything, or my mother was never there for me. Financially, she provided. We never lacked. But I just needed her love. I needed her attention. It's good that you are giving them the attention, and we're not going to have a generation of kids who are going to say, no, daddy was never there for me, and I was busy. So that's a good thing, congratulations that you're managing. Now let's talk about your ministry. When did it like start, and when did you start feeling like, okay, now people are getting to appreciate what I'm doing? Because in as much as we say, no, I'm not doing this for anybody, I'm doing this for Christ, at the end of the day, you are reaching out to the people.
True.
So when did you feel like, okay, now people are beginning to appreciate, or the message is reaching out to the people, the music is reaching out to the people, and then musicians are coming to the studio, we are producing for them.
Yes. So this journey started a long time ago. While I was at Evelyn Owen, I met a guy who introduced me to a friend of mine who would become a very good friend of mine. And so this guy introduced me to Taz, who was my producer by then. So in 2012, which is the music video that we will play later on, that is when we actually wrote the song and produced it. So in 2012, that is when I started apprenticing or learning how to be a music producer and an artist, like officially now. Yes, so with that, with the school part, because now I've learned the theory, I needed the practical. So I met a great guy called Taz Goeni. Look him up on Facebook and on the socials. He's now in Tanzania doing great things there. So from there, I learned a little bit of production. I met another great guy who is innocent. Most of people still remember the Nshakachule song. Yes, so with him, we did actually my first project, which is Brighter Day, from where Zambia Chalo Chesu comes from. So from then, so 2012, spanning from that time till now, I've been doing this, yeah, quite some time now.
So now it means you do have experience, and there are some things that you have learned. Okay, maybe before we get to the things that you have learned, let's talk about your creative process, because we've talked about how you started producing and everything. So how is your creative process like? Like when you're working with artists or when you are writing your songs, what are some of the things that you focus on to say, this, no matter what, I just have to, you know, it just has to be there?
I think the very first thing about my creative process is prayer and the Bible.
Oh, awesome. You started with the word.
Yes.
And talking to the Father.
Yes. So your prayer life has to be there. I usually say it's possible for any person to sing a song for God. Yeah. But it's not every person who can do gospel music.
Oh.
Because you have to be called for it. It is the vessel that creates the music. It is not the music that creates the person.
Okay,
yes.
Okay.
So you have to be word filled for you to be able to preach that word that you give out. So for me, my creative process is obviously the word of God. If I'm going to sing about love, what does God say about love? If I'm going to sing about like the songs that sound cautious music, what am I trying to preach to somebody who's in that situation or who is trying to get out of that situation? So for me, it's the word of God. Obviously, the musical part comes in where I have to have a vision for what I want to do. If it's I want some strings on it, if I want some guitars on it, and being able to play instruments helps me also appreciate other people who play instruments. So I would even know that if I wanted a very good guitar like this, I needed to get player A or player B to come in the studio and come and create that music with me. So the vision really drives now what I have as a message to be able to deliver to the people.
Okay, now that is like for you, but if you are producing for other people, are you that producer who just works with what the client wants? Because in this case, it's a client, eh?
Yes.
Do you just work with what the client wants, or you are that producer who says, you know what, maybe here you can try and do it like this, or for you it's all about the money? Because truth be told, we have heard songs that when you hear them, you're like, what was the producer thinking, really? What was going on here?
Yeah.
But anyway, you just end there because there's nothing that you can do. It has already been done. So are you that kind of producer who just says, you know what, just pay me, this is how much? Whatever the song sounds like, whatever the message there, it's none of your business. Are you that producer?
For me, because God called me into the music ministry for to be able to impact other people and like the slogan at my studio is excellence the only standard.
Okay.
So for me, when I get to meet a person, I ask them the vision and try to get to the best possible outcome of their vision, because it will not be good for the notion to go on. Obviously, you've heard the notion that gospel music is usually substandard and secular music is way excellent at what they do. So for me, I try to get excellency in everything that I do, even if it's just a client who comes in with a half-baked idea. I try to push them to the limit and draw something great out of them, so that when they go out there, obviously they will represent God well,
Yes.
and they will represent the studio well.
And the brand.
Yes, and the brand.
Yes.
Yes. So I try to put in as much as I can.
Okay.
Yes.
No, awesome. No, it's good because some words you can just wonder like, okay, what was going on? I know, yes, this is for God, but can we give God the best?
True.
Can we give God our best?
True.
So it's good that you bring in also your ideas and you don't only focus on just like getting the money. You know, now talking about money, when you are called upon to go and minister, or you have artists maybe who don't reach up to, because we all know every company or every band has got prices that they do have.
Yes.
And some prices are standard, they don't compromise on the prices. True. Are you someone who compromises and say, you know what, because it's a work of God, can we just compromise? Or maybe you just stick to your budgeting or your plannings and everything. And that not only applies to maybe clients that come in with not enough funds,
yes,
but also yourself when you're called to go and just minister. People expect you to go and do it for free. We know music is expensive. So, like, what is your take? Or how would you just, you know, put a line? Where do you just draw a line to say, you know what? Yes, ministry is ministry, but then we need the funds.
So, after being able to apprentice or learn from my friends, when I started my studio, it was the joy of just being able to produce music. So I was a bit naive. I would produce, and then this guy would tell me, no, I'll definitely pay you. Let me just have the music, and then when I pay you, that's when I'm going to use this music for anything else. And I'll be like, oh, no problem. And then I'll give the music to, in fact, let me clarify, Christians and church people, very good people. So this guy would walk out of the studio, and the next thing you hear is the song is playing on radio, and then you're like, brother, you haven't done due diligence here, what's going on? And the brother would stop answering your calls.
Just like that.
Exactly. So from there, I learned a bit of business principles. I also decided to go and do some marketing and business administration, which is my other degree. So from there, I learned that you don't trust people. You let people prove themselves. So before we start any work, I always encourage my artists to be able to pay at least 50%, so that even if they abandon the work, they have at least paid something. Yes, and before they collect the work, they are able to pay the rest of the fee, because that keeps you pledged or committed to what you're doing, and you give in your best into what you're working on. So yeah, I make sure people pay simply because you treasure something when you put value on it.
Yes, exactly.
You do not put you don't treasure something when you don't put any value on it. When I'm called upon to be able to minister at churches or events, it matters what kind of event. If it's a paying event, obviously then they will have to have budgeted to invite me. But if it's a church gathering where they just needed a youthful guy to come and sing, or a worship leader to come and lead worship, I collect my band and communicate it to them that where we're going for ministry, and it's not a paying gig. And they ought to know and be able to believe in the gift that when we go out and minister there, ministry is like, I kind of give an example of breadcrumbs. You do not know where they're leading to. So it is one crumb that leads to a bigger gig, to a average gig, to a smaller gig. But then everything keeps evolving into what you have envisioned it into.
Okay.
Yeah.
So as a producer, do you just work with Christians, or you also work with secular artists?
Yeah, a disclaimer. So, as a music producer, I produce gospel music. I also produce cautious music, which people would do without having the gospel brand on it. But if it has any profanity in it, I show them the door. Because first of all, before being a producer, I'm a Christian and a worship pastor, by the way, at Liberty Christian Center. So before I do anything, I know that the pastor in me would not allow any profanity in my praises.
So it's not about the money for you. Ministry is important.
Ministry comes first.
Awesome. So for now, I think we're just going to go to the second video. So that is the camera. You introduce the second video.
So the second video that we're about to play is called Zambia Chalo Chesu. For somebody who doesn't understand Bemba, like my niece out there.
And myself.
Yes.
I'm seriously accepting them.
Zambia Chalo Chesu Zambia is our country. It's a place that God has given us. And in there I talk about the beautiful scenery that we have, the beautiful blessings that God has enriched this beautiful country, and if we work together, you and I, we will make the dream come true of what we envision Zambia to be as. Stay tuned.
Chalo Chesu, ikwevene kweba kutwala chalo Chesu, pantanshi kalida katuni kusebenzesa, tieni tonse tisebenzele pamozi, tipeleke zikola tupasegolo, kutwala uyantanshi pantanshi te kutwala uyantanshi pamayo. Zambia chalo Chesu Bombele chapamo Zambia chalo Chesu manye Twikatane tu bombele chapamo Zambia chalo Chesu manye Twikatane tu bombele chapamo. We have so many natural resources to better our land, so it is up to you and me to make good use of them. God has blessed us with so much copper in abundance, as if not enough. He has blessed us with so many water bodies, the Victoria Falls, our national pride that gives us hope for a brighter tomorrow. Yeah, Zambia chalo Chesu Bombele chapamo Zambia chalo Chesu manye Twikatane tu bombele chapamo Zambia, Chalucheswane, Trikatane, Tumombele Chapamo. Ifikansa fiansele, politics ya kutukana bane, Trikatanenge for Charlie, Pakupoka, Ubuntu. We all smoke with one voice, we all saw one vision, a Zambia united, a Zambia united, one Zambia, one nation, one Zambia is our pride, one Zambia, one nation, one Zambia is our pride. Chalucheswane, Trikatane, Tumombele Chapamo. Zambia, Chalucheswane, Trikatane, Tumombele Chapamo. Zambia, Chalucheswane, Trikatane, Tumombele Chapamo. Like a noble eagle, we fly over our problems. As our flag rise high, we will stand together as one Zambia, one nation. Our pride, one Zambia, one nation, one Zambia is our cry. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one strong and free. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one strong and free. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one strong and free. Zambia, praise to thee, oh, one strong and free. Zambia, praise to thee. Yelele mama.
You are still watching it. It is the Weekly Gospel with me, your host, the amazing Katamanda. If you're just watching us for the very first time, you are welcome. So the show comes your way every Saturdays at 10:45. We get to bring to you different kinds of ministers, or we profile ministers from different walks of life, as long as they are preaching the gospel, because you know this show is all about preaching the gospel of Jesus. We want to reach out to as many people. We are sharing God's love. That's what we love doing on the show. And today I'm joined by Sampath, the psalmist, and as you can see, I'm holding his album. So maybe I don't know whether we should talk about the song or just from playing, or maybe we just dive into the album. Maybe we can just touch a bit about the Zambia part. Why did you sing about Zambia? Like, a lot of people, I know we have nice places, Zambia is beautiful, but people they would rather talk about other things than like talking about their own country.
True. One of the things that you will appreciate about Zambia is it's such a beautiful and serene place. Having been privileged to live in a few African countries, I've actually learned that Zambia has a peace of its own that you will not understand until you visit the next nation.
That's when you understand it.
Then you will understand that you can walk and not be looking behind your back, thinking somebody's about to steal something from you, somebody's about to stab you or something. Yeah. So that much I appreciate about Zambia, and Zambia is there on my heart, embedded, and I appreciate it so much, such that every time I kind of produce an album, which that one comes, Zambia Chaluches comes from the first album, I try to sing something about Zambia, because like the Bible says that you pray for your nation and pray for the peace of your nation, because when your nation succeeds, you succeed yourself. Yes,
which
so
is very true.
That is the passion I have for my land.
Awesome. Before we get through this, I've noticed something. The keys you are using, I don't know, Honestly, I don't know. But I just saw you under the bus right now. Can you just sing at least just a chorus for just for a few seconds?
Of Zambi Chalachos or any song?
Any song. Because the kids were just using in there. In my head, I'm just like, can I sing with that key? I don't think so. Because the notes, you were just so gentle on them.
One of the songs I enjoy doing a cappella is the song that is on the first album, which is Imini Nandi. When you check it on YouTube or Google it, you'll find it. It says, each day that passes by, brand new mercies I see every day. I just want to say I'm grateful. But someone out there cries themselves to bed. So I sing a song of hope. As long as you have faith in you and breathe in you, there's hope for a brighter tomorrow. Imini nandi la sari no way. Chatikala day,
Okay. Just give yourself a hand, please.
Thank you so much.
That's a great voice right there. Even just the voice donation, how you're following, because I do love singing, but though I'm not a singer, I do love singing, and I would really love to learn how to sing. But hey, anyway.
Well, you're speaking to the right person, because
you also teach how to sing.
I also teach how to sing, and as a vocal coach, I always tell people, if you can speak,
then you can
sing. And telling from your speaking voice, it has a beautiful tone to it, meaning you can sing.
No, I shall start singing. The next time I come here, I'll be singing. So he's going to be my teacher. For now, you're my music mentor.
Definitely.
By force. Okay, now let's talk about this album. Like, when was it done? The artists that you work with, and of course, it is produced by yourself.
Definitely. So the new album is called Faith, Hope, Love. Why Faith, Hope, Love? Yes. The title, Faith, Hope, Love. It really talks to the fact that I wrote most of the songs during the pandemic and post-pandemic. You realize that we're going through a time when people were losing hope. It was at a time where it was two things that were killing people. It was either depression
and fear,
or the pandemic itself. And so you being depressed about, and most people that will tell you about their depression is simply because they compare where they are with another person where they are. But then God has a plan for you, and He has designed a purpose for you, which is just specifically for you. So one will become a millionaire at 15, another
just go ahead.
Another will become a millionaire at 40, another will become a millionaire at 70. It doesn't mean that any of them have something wrong with what they're doing or have figured it out at an earlier age. It's simply because God has a plan for each person at a different time. So faith, hope, love. When you have faith,
Okay, no, awesome. It's good to have an explanation or an insight of everything. So which artists did you work with? Because I can see there are 16 songs in here. So which artists did you work with on this album?
So on the album,
Okay.
yes. So on the album, I worked with most of the people that I worked with are people that we've done this music journey with. We have been able to serve the Lord together. So I worked with Pastor Leo, who is a great minister and a gift to the body of Christ, who I serve with at Liberty Christian Center. I worked with Stevie G. I worked with Ruben, we worked with, who else can I remember? Reverend Naomi, who's a great gift, who have been privileged to be able to produce some of the songs on her project. I worked with Pastor Moshe, a great gift. If you want your choir to sound good, that's the man to look for. I worked with Lulumbi, who is a great gift herself, Bishop Eddie's daughter. I worked with Gift DG, when you just check him out. He's one of those up-and-coming great ministers who has a beautiful voice and a profound ministry. Boyd, I worked with a number of guys. HD Jehu, a rapper, singer himself, and the team that we worked with in producing, like the guitarist Joshua Zimba, quite a number of guys who I was blessed to be able to work with.
There's something that I've noticed here. This piece of work is the dedication to Naomi Malama Mlenga, a great support and friend. May her soul rest in peace. Well, who was this person?
So Malama Naomi Mlenga was my immediate elder sister, who passed on during the time that I was working on this project in a road accident right around Kafue Road, the flyover bridge. Somewhere there was a nasty accident that happened there, and she was my best friend. We went to school together when I was at a boarding school in Samfia. She was already there, so I joined her there. So she was a great partner and a friend. She was blessed enough to have a daughter, young daughter, who I adopted to be my own. So she left me with a very beautiful remembrance. Yes.
Okay, awesome. Now, wow, I'm out of words now. I'm out of words. That's, I think, the sweetest thing I've heard beginning of this year. Talking about this year, let's talk about projects that you have planned this year. Are there concerts, are there album launches, or what projects do you have for this year?
Definitely. So right around May, which happens to be my birth month, on the 5th, I plan to be able to do an album release around that time. Hopefully we can also do an album launch event formally around that time. And we always plan for some shows in November and December. In November, it's my own, and then in December we have what we call the gallery, Liberty Christian Center with the choir Judah. We have what we call the gala night, which is a big night, which we call other ministers, and Bishop Eddie Mlenga himself ministers with the Judah Sanctuary Choir, and it will be a great time. And then we also have the Kabod Youth Convention coming up around April, and then we have another Kabod Worship Convention, which is in December, the first week of December. So it's a packed year.
Okay, no, yes. It's a packed year, indeed. So in this album that you are yet to release on the 5th of May,
yes,
which is going to be on your birthday, which artists have you worked with? Have you worked with everyone that you always prayed to work with, or maybe you're still praying that God gives you that opportunity to work with them?
So I think I've been able to work with a lot of people that I hoped to work with, and I'm still opening up. For me, collaborations come with friendships, because I don't think, for me, collaborations work out of trying to get to a place or getting to push an agenda. For me, it is, if we have a relationship, then we can be able to work together, because giftings these days, you have to vet and be able to know the person that you are working with before you can invest yourself into, because whoever you work with, they rub onto you, and you rub onto them.
It's true. It's true. No, awesome. Let's talk about how you navigate challenges. What are some of the challenges that you face in ministry, and how do you navigate? Well,
ministry in itself is challenging. right from the get-go, I would say, like David, no one is perfect.
Nobody.
So because there is that aspect that we are human, the biggest challenge of our generation is the challenge of holiness and the challenge of being able to live a life that we preach. Because everything that we sing and everything that we give out becomes what people hold you to the standard of who you ought to be. But then there is the ministry aspect and there is the human aspect.
Yeah.
So nobody is perfect, and I challenge myself to become the man that I always preach to be. So the greatest challenge is I always challenge myself to be better.
Okay.
Whatever I did yesterday shouldn't be my benchmark of who I am. It is what I'm going to do today and what I'll do tomorrow, and I try to push myself to become better in everything, in every area of my life, family life, church life, and my personal life.
Okay, so random question. Have you ever been told that you sound like someone, whether you're in Zambia or outside, and how does it make you feel? If at all you have been told like, you sound like that person, and how does it make you feel?
Well, if they're a great singer or a great speaker, then it makes you feel good.
Okay.
Yes. Well, being able to be matched with somebody who has done great or excellent work is always a pat on your back. And then you always try to also push yourself to be an authentic you. So people who you listen to or who influence you, influence how you look, how you speak and everything. But then ultimately you find yourself and polish yourself.
Okay, so I know time isn't really on our side, so just in winding up and closing up, I would just like to know some of the artists you'd like to work with on the international side of business. And then of course you can also just tell us, if we want to get your music, how we can get this album or how we can download your music. Can we buy online? Please don't give out your phone number. Don't give out your phone number. You can give us social handles for those that would want to follow you.
True.
And just in a few seconds as well, word of advice to the young people that want to venture either into music or producing, your word of advice.
So I'll start from the people that I would like to work with out there. Obviously my main guy has always been Cake Franklin. He has always challenged me in how he creates, in how he thinks. He's just, that guy is out of this world. His creative abilities is just amazing. Yeah, he's one of those influential people that I admired growing up, learning keyboard, learning progressions, and thinking of how he puts together work. People like Benjamin Dube, great gifts in the body of Christ. People like Dietrich Haddon, obviously influenced the youthful side of everything that I do. Yes, too many to mention, but those are the ones that
The major ones.
yes, that I would think about. And I've been privileged enough to be able to speak to a lot of youths. And one of the things that I tell everybody that asks me, how do I find my purpose? It is something that you enjoy doing, whether you had a pay or you don't have a pay for it. You find that thing that you enjoy doing and do it to the best of your abilities. When you do it, somebody will identify it, and like the Bible says, your gift will create room for you in the presence of the great. When you polish your gift, it shouldn't be an average offering. It should be something that is excellent, that you do with all your might, all your heart, and all your mind. And it will push you to places that you never thought you would be able to get to. So to find me, you can find me on my official Facebook page, which is Sampa the Creator, or you can find me Sampa Mlenga, or you can check on my YouTube channel as Sampa the Psalmist, and you'll be able to find most of the links of where you can purchase the music. Drop me a message in there, in my inboxes. and follow the page. And I usually give out CDs or flash now that we are in the digital age.
Yeah.
So drop me an email and let's talk from there.
Okay. IG,
Yes.
and not on IG, TikTok.
On
because-
Instagram, yes. On Instagram, Sampa the Psalmist. On Twitter, Sampa the Psalmist. On all the platforms, Sampa the Psalmist or Sampa the Creator.
Okay.
And you'll be able to find the links.
Awesome. Where can we find this?
So you can find it there on the links. They'll be able to give you the outlets where you can find them, or you can also check with Christian Voice. I believe we still have the 2 albums, which is Brighter Day and World Changer. Yes.
Okay. No, Sampa, thank you for joining us. We are really humbled and we're grateful. At least we've gotten to know some of the things that we didn't know about you.
Yes.
And we're wishing you God's blessings in your journey of ministry, producing, and, you know, just keep blessing us with your good music. Thank you so very much for coming through.
Thank you so much for
Our
having
regards
me.
the family.
Definitely.
We thank God that today is Saturday, they've allowed you to be here.
Yes.
Well, thank you, family. But unfortunately, this is where we have to say our goodbyes. It's been awesome. It's been great. Like I mentioned earlier, if you are a poet and you'd like to be featured on the show, or you are just into ministry, you are using a different platform to preach the gospel, it shouldn't only be about music, because we've been focusing on musicians only. But now we want to divert, we want to give room to everybody, as long as they are preaching Jesus, they're preaching the love of Jesus. In whatever method you're using, please come through to the studios. Let's just get to know you and appreciate the works that you're doing, because it's not easy being a Christian and just telling people about Jesus. Believe me, it's not easy. It can be intimidating, but
True.
you are doing it. So we want to appreciate you. Get in touch with us. For now, this is where we have to say our goodbyes on behalf of the entire production crew, Isaac upstairs and Amore. We also have Elijah. Shout out to Mr. Munungwe, BMAC as well, and everybody else who was watching. Thank you to everybody that left their comments on our Facebook page. You can still comment though, and you can catch the repeats on Monday at 10:45, just in case you joined us, you know, in the 9 minutes of the show. So this has been Amazing Katamanda, and I will always be the Amazing Katamanda. We leave you with a song titled
Ichuponin Sansa, which
Okay.
simply means marriage is a blessing. It's a
Okay.
joy.
Awesome. So
This is real love. Chitamwi kwe chapalwa na lesa. This is real love. Ichukwe chapalwa na lesa. So I'll always love you in every season, girl. My way to police and side. Teshapikisha kilabu. My way to police and side. Now come this is real love. Chitamwi kwe chapalwa na lesa. This is real love. Ichukwe chapalwa na lesa. So I'll always love you in every season, girl. My way to police and side. Teshapikisha kilabu. My way to police and side. Now pomunandi. I have found love in you, girl. This is not infatuation, no. You have stood by my side through the good and the bad. See, I have not always been perfect, yet you love me still. You are the one that is perfect, suitable for me. So through all the good and the bad, I promise, girl, to love you. This is real love. Chitamwi kwe chapalwa na lesa. This is real balwa na lesa. This is real love. Ichitamwe kwecha balwa na lesa. This is real love. Ichukwecha balwa na lesa. So I'll always love you in every season, girl. So today I declare my love for you. I'll shout it loud from the rooftop. Today I choose you. Forever and always I do. Forever and always I'll love you, girl. This is real love. This is real love. Ichukwecha balwa na lesa. This is real love. Ichitamwe kwecha balwa na lesa. This is real love. Ichukwecha balwa na lesa. So I'll always love you in every season, girl.